So all the video guys out there, directors, if you can find a good producer, they are worth their weight in gold. I was originally a martial artist, so I used to do capoeira for a really long time, and I got like an arrow to the knee, as you will, and had to sort of rethink my life goals and direction of my life. And so I started like working in an office, but it really wasn't my vibe. One day a friend of mine sort of like told me to buy a camera, come shoot his shows at Mojo's. So I bought the camera, started shooting at Mojo's, and then yeah, just kind of grew from there. I started working for a magazine called Wordplay, where I put in a lot of work shooting hip hop around Perth. And I really loved the idea of like being on board with the artist and talking about the artist's narrative or sort of lifting up them and their work through my visuals. And so the next logical step was to step into the video world and start exploring. And I really just love being challenged. I love feeling uncomfortable. I love that, like, wake up in the morning and like not enough sleep and I'm feeling stressed because like today's shoot, I actually don't know what I'm doing and I have to learn everything that I'm doing. And I kind of like that. I'm still enrolled at Curtin University as a photography student, though I think I've been to maybe 3 classes in like 4 years. So no formal training. And in terms of music videos, my only formal training is being on set with some local directors. There's a guy, David Vincent Smith, who used to let me come onto sets and do BTS and just kind of loiter about. Aaron McCann, who was the director of Top Knot, Don Pierce as well was director of Top Knot. They let me just kind of be there and float around and hang out. And from there, I kind of like, grew the confidence and kind of understood the production behind what comes out the other end. I'm definitely a self-learner. I'm definitely self-motivator. I like to own what I'm working on. So rather than sit in a class and be told, this is what you should be doing, these are the photographers you should be looking at, I really like to sort of develop my own passion. Because what I find with that is that like, it drives me more and I become more attached to it. I'm more invested in what I'm doing, and I find that I learn faster, I learn more, and then I can do whatever I want, which I really like. Yeah. I got a great piece of advice from a guy called James Wiley. He's a Canadian photojournalist. He'd be in his 60s now. And we used to have these really tiny little like conversations online. And that was like my formal training. And I've treasured these like, one paragraph little pieces of advice he would give me. And one of the things he said is, find something that you're passionate about in your city, find some interesting people and photograph that. Don't just aimlessly photograph. He said, get involved in something. And so one of the things I got involved in was music. I had a lot of friends who were in music. My dad is a musician, my mum was a dancer. I worked at Mojo's just about every weekend for like 2 years. And so I met people. I met directors, I met photographers, I met video makers, filmmakers, all kinds of people through that shared sort of like love and passion for music. And then I was able to meet these guys, they could see my work, and then we could, they would invite me to sets and they would invite me to do work, and then it just kind of built from there. Really support your local community with your work. So with your photography, with your design, with your videography or directing, find something in your community and support that and build those relationships, because that's what really matters. They're the people that are going to come to view your shows, they're the people who are going to share your work, they're the people who are going to pass your name on to clients that they think, oh, I know this really cool photographer, he's a nice guy, really passionate about Perth. And so that's like, for me, it's everything. So I shot this music video for Silver Tongue. It was produced, I had Slumberjack on the production. This was a few years ago. Big tune, lovely tune, absolute banger. And I had no idea what I was doing. And my crew was a dude named Zach Gordon, who'd never been on a film set before. My friend Alright, who is just a friend, and then my friend Halim. And that was the crew of this music video. We had about 30 extras out in this forest with flaming torches. We hired a red camera. We didn't know how to use a red camera. For lighting, we hired from like Hertz Hire this giant like road light that they use on construction sites. And we lit up the side of this forest and we shot into the night. And like I said, like we had no idea what we were doing. We were just literally making it up as we were going along. And it was actually the funnest thing ever. The difference for me, like between photography and video really is in the scale of the production for a lot of it. Photography, you can get by yourself. You can grab a camera, you can grab a model, you can go out and shoot. Video, there's a lot more moving parts, and you need good people to help you. Like I said, my name is Matsu, which means pine tree, which is fixed to the ground, strong base, but also means wait. Take your time, and you know, the world will let things happen. And I think if you work hard enough and you're passionate enough about what you do, I think people will recognize that value and begin to come to you with bigger projects. What also helps is if you can find a producer. I work with a girl called Jess Parker, and she is so good at handling the front end of the production, the finances, and justifying why things cost so much to a client. And that can be a really, really hard thing. But like I said, I think you've got to first be good at what you do before you start charging. So I want to be able to walk into an interview or walk into an office or walk into a meeting and be able to look everyone in the eye and say, I can deliver this. I can produce this quality of work before we even talk about money. I can communicate with you guys at a level that is respectable and at a high place, rather than me trying to hustle more money out of them. I want to justify that worth through my work and through my character and through my interactions. So yeah, my best piece of advice, and it's really hard, you know, like to be really self-critical and to really like, you know, look at your own work and go, maybe I'm not good. So what do I need to do to get better? And I think, yeah, I think you take on that approach, I think naturally you will do well. I guess I watch a lot of music videos, I watch a lot of films, and I look at a lot of photography. So I think if you're sort of across a lot of what's current, what's going on, I think you can kind of see where trends might go, or trends are going, what's the hot look, what's not the hot look. But again, I think it comes from inside, right? Like I think it's, again, like I said, it's about like I can be very philosophical about my approach to photography and videography, and I always say that like my photography is a reflection of me. My videography, my directing is a reflection of me, my character, the things that I've done, the things that I've said, the things that I think about. You're seeing that reflected visually, right? And so what I'm always trying to do is to build that inner side of myself, build my character, build my passion, build my ideas, build where I draw inspiration from, so that when I go to produce work, it's reflected naturally, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? I've never really taken the mindset of I'm going to make my style. It's just I've followed my passion. Any art form's a conversation, right? And you never want to walk into a conversation where someone's got their back turned to you and they're talking to the ground, right? Because that's not a conversation. That's self-indulgence, which is fine and it's a beautiful thing. But I really do like opening up a dialogue with audiences. I really do like trying to sort of connect my visuals to an audience, if possible, if people are willing. And just like a child, you know, you get words, you get letters, you get sentences, and you begin to construct meaning, right? And I think the same with visuals. You know, you have your camera, you have your lighting, you have your camera movements, you have your actors. There's so many different elements, and you can begin to actually create a dialogue and a language through that, which for me is really exciting. That's a lot of fun, you know, like what works, what doesn't work. I'm very happy to get an idea like the Fate video and just run with it, go shoot it. But sometimes, you know, like you have to sit down with an artist. Like I filmed a music video for Tired Lion, and it was a great video, and we sat down and we talked about the shot selection, we talked about what goes where, and I enjoyed that process. I enjoyed opening myself up and them critiquing my work, and it softened me out. I'm not so highly strung, I'm not so uptight about my own work. I can walk in and just put my work down and go, there it is, it's good or it's not, but like, this is what we're talking about. And at the end of the day, it's all about, especially working with artists, with musicians, it really is, it's all about them. My own personal work is for me, and I'll do that and I'll self-indulge. But if I'm working for an artist, I'm working for them, and my goal is what's best for them. And generally, you know, you have to open a dialogue with their management, with their record label, and with them and their friends as to what they think is, as a team, where we're going for the best place. And I think it's fun. I think it's cool.